Hi, welcome, White. Welcome to the Chapter 10 Organizational Structure. We are using 2023 Pearson Canada in terms of the 9th edition, in terms of copyright. This is by Organizational Behavior, Concept, Controversy, and its Applications. Okay? All right, let's start this class. There's about a 56 slide on this. It's quite a long one, actually. The outline, there's about 5 of them. What is organizational structure? Is culture is a descriptive term? Do organizations have a uniform culture? There's a question. A strong and weak cultures, a culture and formalization. So each has its own cultures. What do cultures do? Cultures functions, culture create climates, the ethical dimension of cultures, cultures sustainability, cultures and innovations, cultures as a liability. Okay, this is we're going to discuss this in detail. Creating and sustaining organizational cultures, how a culture begins, keeping a culture alive as well, and then how employees learn culture, stories, rituals, meta symbols, and language. Number 4, number 5, changing organizational cultures, creating an ethical organizational cultures, creating a positive organizational culture as well. There's quite a learning of outcomes here. Number 1, describe the common characteristics of organizational cultures, compare the functional and dysfunctional effect of organizational cultures and people and the organizations, and then number 3, identify the factors that create and sustain an organizational cultures. Number 4, show how culture is transmitted to employees, demonstrate how an ethical organizational culture can be created, describe a positive organizational culture as well. Number second, continuance on the next slide. What is organizational cultures? Okay. Organizational culture is a system shared, meaning held by members, that distinguishes the organization from other organizations. Harry Mintzberg said culture is the soul of organization, the belief and values and how they are manifested. I think the structure is a skeleton and as a flesh and blood, and culture is the soul that holds the thing together and gives its life a force. 7 primary characteristics of an organizational culture will be innovations and risk-taking, intense attention to detail, outcome orientations, people orientations, teams orientation, aggressiveness, and stability. Innovation and risk-taking, the degree to which employees are encouraged to be innovative and take risks. Attention to detail, the degree to which employees are expected to exhibit precision, analysis, and attention to detail. What cultures is the degree to which the management focus on result or outcomes rather than on techniques and processes. And people orientations, the degree to which the management decision take into the consideration the effect of outcomes on people within the organizations. Team orientations, the degree to which the activities are organized around teams rather than individuals. And aggressiveness, the degree to which people are aggressive and competitive rather than easygoing. That's just different. Being aggressive means being competitive rather than easygoing. Stability means the degree to which the organization activity emphasizes maintaining the status quo in contrasting the growth. Example of organization structure is comparison of organization A versus B. In this context, okay, managers must fully document all decisions. Creative decision change and risk are not encouraged. There's extensive rules and negotiation exists for all employees. Productivity is valued over employees' morale. Employees are encouraged to stay within their own department. Individual effort is encouraged. This is typical organization A. Organization B, managers encourage and reward risk-taking and change. Employees are encouraged to run with ideas and failures and treat it as a learning experience. Employees have a few rules and regulations to follow. Production is balanced with treating its employee right. Team members are encouraged to interact with people at all levels and functions. Many rewards are team-based. Culture is a descriptive term. Organizational culture shows how employees perceive the characteristics of an organization, not whether they are like them. That is a descriptive term. Do organizations have uniform cultures? The dominant culture is a system of shared meaning that express the core value of shared by majority of the organization as members. The core values are the dominant values that are accepted throughout the organization. The subcultures are mini cultures within the organization, typically defined by the designations and geographical separations. The strong versus weak cultures. In most employees responding to surveys have the same opinions about the organization's missions and values. The culture is strong. If opinions vary widely, the culture is weak. Strong culture is the culture which the core values are intensely held and widely shared. Strong culture means greatly influence employee behavior. What do cultures do? Culture function is boundary defining, convey a sense of identity for organization members, foster the commitment to some larger than one's individual self-interest. Culture function enhance stability. It is the social glue that helps hold the organization together by providing standards for what employees should do and do. Say and do, okay? It serves as a control mechanism that guides shape the attitudes and behavior of employees and help them make sense of the organization. Cultures define the rules of the game as well. The culture functions to the trend to organization. Organization make culture more important than ever, but it also makes establishing a strong culture more difficult. Strong leaders that communicate frequently about common goals, priorities, especially important in innovative organizations. Okay. Next one, culture creates climate. It's a shared perception organization members have about their organizations and work environment. This aspect of culture is like a team spirit when everyone has the same general feelings about what is important and how the well things are working. The effect of this attitude will be more than the sum of the individual parts. What the ethical dimension of cultures are an ethical nature. The EWC, which is ethical work climate, is the shared concept of right and wrong behavior in the workplace that reflects the true values of the organization and shape the ethical decision making of its members. Ethical dimension of cultures, climate theory, ECT, and the climate index, ECI. It categorizes and measures the ethical dimension of organizational cultures. Ethical climate reflects the true values of the organization and shape the ethical decision making of its members. The organizational culture, there's 5 of them. They are more prevalent. Instrumental, caring, independence, law and code and rules. These are the 5 climates categories. Okay. Cure culture and sustainability. Sustainability means the organization practice that can be sustained over a prolonged period of time because of the tool or structure that support them are not damaged by the process. Sustainability management does not need to be purely altruistic. The culture innovation. Most innovative companies are often characterized by their open, unconventional, collaborative, vision-driven, and excellent cultures. Startup firms often have innovative cultures by definition because they are usually small, agile, and focused on solving problems in order to survive and grow. Culture reliability. There are potential dysfunctional aspects of culture on its effectiveness. Some of the major factors are that signal negative organizational culture will be institution is an condition that occurs when an organization takes on a life of its own, apart from its ordering of members and acquired immortality. Culture as liability, barriers to change, barriers to diversity, structural dysfunctions, barrier to acquisition, mergers. Structure and formalization. High formalization create predictability, orderliness, and consistency. A strong culture modifies behavior, similarity. Formation and culture are 2 different roads to a common destination. How culture begins. An organization's custom, tradition, and general way of doing things are largely due to what it has done before and how successfully it was doing it. The ultimate source of organizational culture is its founders. Culture creation occurs in the following ways. Hire and keep employees who think and feel the way the founders do. Indoctrinate and social employees to their way of thinking and feeling. Founders' own behavior encourage employees to identify with founders and thereby internalize those beliefs, values, and assumptions. This is the structures of the exhibit, how the organizational culture is coming from, philosophy of organization founders, go to selection criteria, go to the top management, socialization, go to organizational structures. This illustration begins the philosophy of the founders, which proceed to selection criteria. The selection is branched out to top management and socialization. Top management is connected to socializations. Both top management and socialization further point out toward the organizational cultures. Okay. Keeping a culture alive. Once a culture is in place, practice will be maintained by giving a set of similar expressions. Selections, top management. What is socialization? Is a process that adapts new employees to an organizational culture. Just go back. Keeping a culture alive, there's a pre-arrival stage. It's a period of learning in the selection process that occurs before new employees join the organization. The encounter stage is the stage of the association process in which a new employee sees what the organization is likely and confront the policy that the experience and reality may diverge. Creating, sustaining, and avoiding culture 6 and 10. Yeah, okay, the metaphor stage is the stage in the association process in which the new employee adjusts to the values and norms of the job and work group and organizations. Creating and sustaining ongoing structure means pre-arrival, encounter, metamorphosis, go all the way to productivity, commitment, and turnover. It begins again. It's a begin with the process with pre-arrival and proceed toward the encounterment, going to metamorphosis. It points to three outcomes, which is productivity, commitment, and turnover. That's basically what this model is. Keeping a culture alive, the three-part introduction is the complete when the following occurs: when the employees become comfortable, have internalized and understand and accept the norms of organization and the work group, and feel accepted by their peers. Keeping a culture alive are self-confident, understand how they will be evaluated, and know what the character will be and use to measure and praise their work. Know what is expected and what the considered job well done. This is a structures of how the culture have an impact on employee performance and satisfaction. A block of text is the objective factors as follows. Okay, the objective will be like innovation and risk-taking, attention to detail, article orientations, people orientations, team orientation, aggressiveness and stability is perceived as organizational cultures and split into two, strength with a high or low, and then the outcome will be performance and satisfactions. How employees learn? Cultures from stories, ritual, material symbols, and language. And then trying to change the culture of organization is quite difficult and requires that many aspects of the organization change at the same time, especially the reward structure. Culture is such a challenge to change because it often represents the established mindset of an employee and managers. Changing is most likely and most of all the following conditions exist. With dynamic crisis, turnover leadership, young and small organization with culture. When I was working for BMO or RSA in Travis, Canada, that's why we call it change management department. They are focusing specifically on the change management analysts they call it. Then creating an ethical structures, be feasible, role model, communicate ethical expectations, provide ethical trainings, visually reward ethical acts and punish ethical ones. Provide the protective mechanism. Positive organizational culture is a culture that emphasizes building on employee strength, reward, moderates punishes, and emphasizes individual vitality and growth. Again, limits of organizational culture, is it the answer to all organizational problems? Is it enough? Is it enough? Are that there is some uncertainty about how and when it works best? Organizational culture often reflect national cultures. When organizations open up operation in another country, it ignores the local culture and has its own risks. Management of ethical behavior is one of the areas where national culture can rub off against corporate cultures. Many strategies for improving ethical behavior are based on the value and belief of the host countries. In summary, the characteristics of organization culture include innovation and risk-taking, attentions to detail, orientations, aggressiveness, and stability. The culture creates organizational climate and ethics as a whole. Dysfunctional occur when the barrier exists. There are three. Number three here, summary. Cultures begin with the founders who hire with organizational fit in mind and sustain by setting in the place of the proper tools and structures. Number four, culture is transmitted to employees via socialization and internationalizations. Number five, an ethical culture has visual role models, communicate ethical expectations, provide ethical trainings, rewards, and ethical acts, and provides protective mechanism. Positive culture built on employee strength, emphasizes vitality, and growth. So these are the view that you're gonna review. Number one, what are the organizational cultures? What is the common characters that you need to ask? What are the functional and dysfunctional effects of the organizational culture you need to ask? What factors that create and sustain organizational culture that you need to ask? Okay. Number four, How is the culture transmitted to employees? Number 5, how can Indian organizational culture be created? Number 6, what is the positive organizational cultures? When you are at work, for managers, realize the organization culture is relatively fixed in the short term. To affect the change involves top management and strategies in the long-term plan. Hire individuals whose values align with those of the organization. This employee will tend to remain committed and satisfied. Not surprising misfit having higher turnover. And understand that employee performance and social depend on considerable degree on which knowing what to do and not to do, train your employees well and keep them informed or change to their job roles. Beware of your company organization cultures. May be transportable to organization cultures. Understand the cultural relevance of your organization norm before introducing new plans and initiative overseas. Okay, form a small group of people. This is group exercise in the class. Choose two courses that by you taking this term in different faculties. Describe the culture and classroom image. What are the similarities and differences? What the value of learning you may infer from your organization in the futures? And the entire artifact culture of your current workplace. From this artifact, you can conclude that the organization has a strong and weak cultures. Have you have someone you work for the culture was strong? What was the reaction to your culture? Did you like the environment, or would you prefer to work somewhere else where there is no culture, and why is the reason? So that's basically concludes this chapter. Hope I will upload this in YouTube as well as puzzle for interactive learning. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.